finger thing over my thumb. I can't handle it anymore because the arthritis has gotten so bad. So when I do this, now when I first started making this splint, I would actually take a tape measure and make little notches up here to make sure I had a nice straight line. If you don't have a clean line and it's in a nice straight piece to start with, you're going to have an awful time trying to get it smoothed out when you get ready to make the splint. So I've done it for so many years now, I don't have to worry about it too much. I just go right down the end. Make sure it is good and soft when you do it. I was in here very early this morning cutting some of the strips, and my husband was with me and went, wow, that's really smooth. I said, yeah, it should be. I've been doing it for 14 years. So this is what we start off with, okay? And then, this one's nice and warm now. Take this strip out, okay? Then I have my other little scissors, which is great for cutting, your curves. And I just cut my curve. Okay. And then I say, Mary, can you stand up for me, honey? Oh. It's this one, isn't it? Well, it's your right one. It's the problem, child. Stand a little lower. Remember I'm short? Okay. And I knew this was going to happen, and this is kind of a good thing. Okay, because that's going to happen every once in a while. And the beauty of aquaplast is, back in there. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, I don't care what you do. Now, you want to work somewhat fast, but not too fast, because if you go spinning around this thing around too quick, it's going to stick. Okay. Now, for people with the hyperextension in the IP, and we know we got a bunch of them, right? We want to go right over that nail, all right, and then right between the IP and the MP. Go right here. Okay. And then we go over the MP. And I'm going to slow down right here because when I start to come through the palm and wrap it around again, if it's too mobile, it'll stick. And I don't want it to stick because then I have a hard time trying to get things cleaned up. So right about now, that's when I'm going to bring it through the palm, the web space in the palm. Make sure that guy stays where he belongs. And then I'm going to come around here, around the wrist. Okay. And this is when I tell the patient, do me a favor, and I want you to touch your index to your thumb like you're holding a feather. Okay. And then I come back through here. Okay. And see, now it won't stick because I've kind of slowed myself down a little bit. Then I tuck it through here. Make sure that the palmar piece is arched well. And I come back through here, tuck it for a second. I'm going to grab my scissors, clip off this piece right here, and I save my little pieces for that little finger spiral that I was showing you. And I attach here. Now, this is where we would use the heat gun. But I'm going to keep this on Mary for a second, and there's a cup of water that's right there. Are there any of the pitchers hanging around? Any of the water
back
pitchers? There. Great. Fabulous. Thank you so much. Okay, and I have a little plastic container at work where I put some cold water in there, and then I go, okay, I like where I'm at. And then I go, can you stick your hand in there? Stick their hand in there, in the cool water, to get the thing to cool off where I want it, quick. And then I'll have Mary come out. There we go. Now, suspicious areas. All right, areas that I always make a little change on. Number one, I take my little yellow crayon, or I take a little pen, and I put a little dot on either side here. And then I use the heat gun, because when she goes to take this off, this thing's going to move. But I want to know where it's supposed to be. Right. So then I go and heat that, hold it in position, and then this is warm. This is cool enough now that Mary can go ahead and take it off. And Mary already knows how to take it off. There we go. So Couple of areas where I always go in with the heat gun very carefully. You can now move this around a little bit. First thing I do is I heat this down, tack it, hold it. Then thumb web space right here. I heat it a little bit on either side very carefully, and then I roll it up just a little bit. Another area right here, just to make sure that the back of the hand doesn't have a problem with the real bony, thin hands. Okay? And it's done. Now, if I